So I saw Brightburn on Tuesday, and I liked it. I liked it a lot, actually. So you know, we're all familiar basically with the story of Superman. Uh, his spaceship landed in Smallville, Kansas. He was found by Jonathan and Martha Kent, and his life was changed forever. I mean, he was raised by two great people, farmers, and you know, Clark Kent, aka Kal-El, was raised to be humble and honest and just a good person. So now, what happens if that story takes a dark turn? What happens if Alien is crashes in Kansas, but it's in Brightburn, Kansas, and not Smallville? And what happens? He's raised by farmers, but let's just say Brandon Byer is just not a really nice kid. Yeah, this movie is a very it's like the opposite story of Superman. It's a dark version of it, and I really liked it. And like I was telling a friend of mine the other day that with Brightburn, and this is a type of film that wouldn't have been made 20 or 30 years ago because Superman, Spider Man, Captain America, they're iconic. They're basically sacred, as far as superheroes in America are concerned. So the fact that this film got made, directed by David Urofsky, if I'm saying his name right, or Urofsky, and James Gunn produced the film. Let me give you some more info. And the screenplay was actually done by Brian Gunn and Mark Gunn. So I'm assuming those are James Gunn's brothers. But yeah, they did the screenplay. But James Gunn and Kenneth Hugh produced the film. But David Yarofsky directed it. And it was good. Now, there were some things about the film. There were little small, little inconsistencies, well, little small things that kind of bothered me. But as a whole, I enjoyed it. It was I'll put it to you this way: this film, this story is for those of you who are familiar with Superman, DC Comics, and his Superman, uh, his most powerful and famous enemies are Lex Luthor and Doomsday. So this movie would be Lex Luthor's greatest nightmare, and it would be a validation of all that he believes in regards to Superman. Like there's this great series called Lex Luthor Man of Steel, and it's seeing through Lex Luthor's eyes and how he views Superman. And he viewed him as like this demon, this alien who does not have mankind's best interest, who can't be trusted. So when you watch Brightburn, like I said, this would be Lex Luthor's greatest nightmare because Brandon Byer is. I mean, he's a young boy, he's a teenager, but the boy ain't right. So Elizabeth Banks plays his mom, and she does a great job. So she's the star of the movie. Her name is Tori Byer or Breyer, excuse me. And David Denman plays Kyle Breyer, the dad. And Jackson A. Dunn is Brandon Breyer, and he does a great job. He kills it in this film. Yeah, he does literally. Uh, yeah, this was a good film. This was a good film. I mean, if you're looking for something different, because like for example, I loved Man of Steel. I did. I think it's a great story. Superman before Man of Steel, to me, he was getting a little bit kind of boring. Truth, justice, the American way. Of course, we're all for that, but he was too much of a Boy Scout. Like sometimes Batman could be a little too edgy, too dark. Superman was a little too light. So Man of Steel was great because it was gritty and it was real. When I watched Brightburn, I felt the same way. I felt like this could really happen. Very realistic. The production was great. Cinematography was great. I'd like to know more about what planet Brandon's actually from. Um, and some of the things, some of his behavior wasn't explained. So basically, imagine an alien with superpowers who's a psychotic sociopath. Yeah, yeah, that was Brightburn. And the question you have to ask yourself is, you know, Can He Be Stopped? Um, and yeah, I really enjoyed the film. I'll be buying this movie. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give it like an eight and a half. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Brightburn, check it out. Yeah, it was. I wish I would have wrote that story myself. I like the fact that they took the Superman story and they flipped it literally. So and there's some messages in it too. Like, for example, um, you know, it's all about where you come from. And then there's the whole argument of nurture nature. And I think Brightburn does a great job of that, nurture nature, because actually the Bryars were great parents. I mean, they were great people. The mom was a little overprotective. Yeah. Um, yeah, she was a little overprotective. And you get the feeling that apparently, I guess they were a barren couple. They couldn't have a kid, so when he came, it was like a blessing. But was it? And the whole what's that saying? Spare the rod, spoil the child. Yeah, yeah. But check it out if you're looking for something different. It's sci-fi. It's dark, but it was really interesting. I really enjoyed it, and I just yeah. That's all. I don't want to give it away, but it was very interesting. So I'd love to know more about what planet he's actually from. I mean, so there's some things. There were some details that we didn't get, but when I watched this film, I felt like it gave me it made me want more. So, I want to know. I want to see the story continue. I want to see it continue. I'm not saying that it does or doesn't, but yeah, it piqued my curiosity. So yeah, but Brightburn, check it out. It's in the theaters now. So I mean, it came out at the same time as Aladdin, and Aladdin killed everything. Went number one. But check it out, Brightburn and John Wick 3. I'll talk about that later too. I enjoyed that as well. But yeah, check it out, Brightburn. it's definitely food for thought.